Hello everyone, it's James and welcome back to Web3 Revolution. Today we're going over a company called DeFi Technologies. They've sponsored this video. But before we dive into it, as always, remember this information is not financial advice, so please do your own research and talk to a licensed financial advisor before doing any investing. If you want to follow along, browse the content as I'm going over it, check the links in the description below. So you can do so. All right, here we go. There's a lot of information to go over, so I do have some notes. I'm going to be looking away probably at my screen a lot, looking at some of these notes, so bear with me as I do read some of them as they're pretty detailed. Who is DeFi? What do they do? Well, here's their website. This is kind of the main page on it. They're a public company founded in 2020 to provide regulated and secure access to decentralized finance. They are a financial technology company allowing traditional investors to gain exposure to diversified portfolios of digital assets across the decentralized finance and Web3 sectors. They capture the upside in the explosive growth of digital assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and other Web3 protocols by regulated equity instruments. They are also one of the only publicly traded companies built to give investors direct exposure to these nascent markets in a regulated, secure manner. One thing they note is that Bitcoin's forecasted to go to about 100,000 or more this year. You could buy a tiny crypto stock with $100+ million in revenue that holds Bitcoin in its treasury. The company has publicly stated they plan to uplist to NASDAQ. So that's crazy, meaning institutions and others can invest in them. They have a lot of products. Sorry, the screen went a little small there because I was moving it around. They have ETPs, ventures. Again, they're publicly traded, so they're under the ticker DEFTF, I believe is what it was. Valor is one of their asset management companies. $609 million. DeFi Ventures, $32 million US. And DeFi Alpha at $97.5 million US. A lot of coin. So browse their site. They've got a lot of information. Again, here's all their subsidiaries. They have a lot of good information on their site. What I want to do next is go over a little video that was mentioned where Tom Lee, the founder of Fundstrat and FS Insight, had made a bold statement about Bitcoin going to 100,000. So you may want to pay attention to that. Make this thing big. The quality is not the best, so it may look a little grainy, but that is the video itself.
Do you have a target for Bitcoin now? Yeah, our team, we have a crypto team. It's actually 4 people that research Bitcoin basically every day. And they think it's going to be over 100,000 by the end of the year, with most of that move coming after election day. So it's part of this halving cycle. I think that's not crazy. I mean, Bitcoin is
housing,
58,000.
Halving.
But in the next couple of years, could it be mid 6 figures? Again, it's not a stretch, because the one thing is everybody in this room is above average in wealth, and the banking system works in your favor. If you're not wealthy, if you look at OECD data, the average person spends almost 6 weeks of their salary a year to pay for their bank account. That means they're paying more to use the banking system than they are paying in taxes. So it's really expensive. It's roughly 4% of all global GDP is spent to pay the banking system. It's a huge tax for most people.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. Now we can go back to the DeFi site. There's actually no, hold on, let's close that one. Some information about halving that Rect Capital had put together on their X site. And basically every 4 years, which seems to be the election cycles, imagine that, there's a big halving where there's a major uptick at the end of the year. So again, right from their X, it's currently we're in a halving year, so that makes sense to compare, this year to previous ones, right? Yeah, it's kind of how you want to forecast, is looking at the previous ones. And in 2016, in September, we're at 6% upside, 14% October upside, and actually, if you can see here, 16. October was 14. It was a little bit of a 5 in November, and December was 30%. Crazy. 2020 kind of went through the same cycle, 7.5% negative downside, but 27% up in October, 42 in November, and 46 in December. Now this year, 2024, we're sitting at -8, but potentially double an October upside is awaiting. Again, it tends to follow this cycle, so that's what we're expecting it to go to the moon, as they say. So I would definitely get in on it. Here's a little bit more about that. So at bottom, 547 days prior to the 2016 halving, topped in its bull market at 518 days after the halving. In 2020, bottom 517 days, topped 549. 2024, 517, and we're figuring 549. So as you can see, this little graph, this little picture, if I can zoom it, this is what we're looking at. And it's expected, as you can see, it's peaking right here. What does this say here? 23, is that 54,000? I mean, it's pumping up there in the 80s. Again, following this cycle, it's expecting to go up. So that's what they mean by the halving cycles here. Well worth getting into. And again, DeFi's, that's one of their main markets that they focus on. Now, President Trump, former president, gave a speech. Let me go back to the DeFi site so you're actually sitting on that, because you don't really want to look at that the whole time. It'd be something to look at in the background as I kind of go over my notes. I'm not going to bring the video up. There's a video of Trump at the Nashville Bitcoin conference in 2024. This was back in July, and he gave a 48-minute speech. You can watch that if you haven't seen it. It was great. Now, the June's price of DeFi at the time was 80 cents, and today, just one share is north of $2. So that's a big increase just in a few months. Yet the valuation is still cheap right now. And a couple of takeaways from former and the next president, you hear that, show that this country, the greatest to ever exist when it comes to innovation and business, should treat the industry just like he says here. Now, he began by complimenting and elevating the talent and the genius of the visionaries, in this market, in this genre, if you want to call it that. In just 15 years, Bitcoin made its way from concept to 9th largest asset class in the world. Another thing that President Trump did, he applauded the atmosphere of the community, the cooperation, high-level achievements of the leaders, like the CEO of DeFi, Olivier, of the industry. You can see Olivier, entrepreneur, that has so far proven immense talent and resourcefulness in building lightweight and profitable ventures, as we went over some of their ventures on the website there. President Trump made it very clear that the U.S. must lead the crypto industry ahead of China, not fighting against China, but excelling. Unlike the current administration, President Trump wants to lead, not to preach China, that they should bow down. Another great point made by President Trump was calling his presidency the common sense approach. which has been sorely missed for many years. The best line was cryptocurrency will be mined, minted, and made in America. President Trump's not only the first president to address the Bitcoin conference. Not only the first president to address the Bitcoin conference, but also opened his campaign donations, which exceeded 25 million in crypto. Another statistic Vivek Ramaswamy shared with President Trump was 175 million people are involved with the blockchain industry, and therefore he coined the next term, build the future, not block the future. President Trump promises that the government will be the friend of the industry and take drastic action to make the framework clear and simple. The late Charlie Munger said rightly, simplicity is a state of mind. President Trump wants to make sure this is completed within the first 100 days of his term. We'll see. So central bank digital currency. We've all heard a lot about that. President Trump says, no, there will not be a central bank digital currency. That's nothing but a economic killer there. Here's another big one. The one tactic that is the crown jewel of Trump 2024, stable coin adoption, which will allow investors from around the globe to invest in the dollar through cryptocurrency. So this is just genius, in my opinion, since it makes the dollar more important than ever in an era of deglobalization. Think of the scores of human beings living in countries where stability of currency is but a dream, but can now peg their savings to the dollar. Under President Trump, Bitcoin surged 3,900%, unlike the current administration by Harris at 50%. The best part is that the U.S. government owns 210,000 Bitcoin, 1% of all the BTC Bitcoin ever to be mined. And Trump announced at the commencement of two policies. The government will never sell their Bitcoin, and those 210,000 BTC will serve as the seed for a strategic core stockpile. All right, a few more notes. I'm not going to belabor this too much, as you do have links to the site, so you can browse it at your leisure and get a lot of the information from them and those experts. Valuation. If any of these values I state on here, they're all US dollars, so obviously currency conversion wherever you're at, there may be some differences, but this is all US dollars, so I don't say it otherwise, it's US dollars. They announced the second quarter 2024 financial results, having its strongest financial quarter to date, with revenue of $98 million and $94.4 million for the 3 and 6 month ending in June of 2024, along with a net income of $66.5 million and $53.2 million for the same periods. Their market cap is $615 million. They have $40 million in cash, treasury $15 million in cryptocurrency holdings. Their enterprise value $570 million. So just think, or not even think. They generated a net income of $66.5 million in the recent quarter. Their price to earnings ratio (P/E) is 3. Which is just crazy good. Now looking ahead, they project, DeFi Technologies predicts an annualized revenue for fiscal year 2024 to reach approximately $131 million, supported by ongoing assets under management AUM growth, upcoming ETP launches, and the integration of new acquisitions which are poised to capitalize on the favorable conditions in the digital asset sector. Furthermore, DeFi continues to evaluate additional DeFi alpha trading opportunities, which, if executed, will drive revenues and net income very high. Now, 45% of DeFi is owned by its senior management and founders, the insiders. So compare that to Warren Buffett, who only owns 33% of Berkshire Hathaway, and he still gets up at 94 years old and goes in. And just weeks ago, Olivier, the CEO, bought 900,000 shares of DeFi on the open market. In total, the CEO owns, with his close associates, 17.9 million shares. That's over 40 million reasons and dollars to make this company more valuable. He's going to invest that much money in his own company. It's got to be worth something, right? They announced a massive buyback program, and they've only scratched the surface. The program is authorized to buy back 27 million shares, but they just started. They've also increased their BTC holdings by purchasing additional 94.34 BTC, which, if you know the value of BTC at the moment, that's a lot, bringing their total to 204.34 BTC. They've also diversified their treasury by acquiring 12,775 of SOL tokens. They bought core tokens. They purchased 1,484,148 core tokens and plan to participate in core staking facility, which enhances yield opportunities and contributes to the network security. Finally, one of their subsidiaries, Valor, has signed a MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, with the Nairobi Securities Exchange and SoFi Inc. to facilitate the creation, issuance, and trading of digital asset exchange trade products in the African market, leveraging their expertise in digital assets and SoFi's financial solutions. That's big, going in totally other markets besides where we're at now. Kenya, a technological innovation hub with a robust mobile money ecosystem and 85% smartphone penetration, is the largest cryptocurrency market in East Africa and ranks among the top 5 on the continent. The country is witnessing growing digital asset adoption, practical applications highlighting its potential to transform the financial landscape. Now, one thing Fox Business noted recently is claiming that DeFi could be the next NVIDIA. I have a little image here. They find these are potential baggers. So if you follow along with Fox Business and take their advice, then it's a no-brainer. Invest. Get in now before the explosion after the election cycle. So, well, that's all I got. Again, a lot of information. There's a lot more on their website. Talk to your financial advisor before you try to invest. Make sure it's good for you. Check out the links in the description. Look up the Trump video. That should be in the links as well. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave us a comment below. Let us know if you like what you see, if you want to see something else, you have any suggestions on what you may want us to review, and we'll get back to you. Appreciate it. Thank you.